Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome to Tribe of Excellence. We are in our weekly session right now, so we're diving further down into boundaries. So I'm excited to move forward with you and really kind of tease out almost the last of our boundary series. So earlier in the month, we talked about 12 things that, or 12 kind of, signs that blurs boundaries, right? So 12 signs that burns boundaries. And so now we're going a little bit further. Last week we talked about the causes, right? Causes, what deep down inside is happening with our boundaries. And today we're going to dig even deeper, and I'm going to give you one big tool today to change what you do around boundaries, right? And get them to work for you. So one big thing today. So welcome. Hello, Kaylee. Hello, Michelle. Michelle, we missed you. We missed you on our team group. We had a really good convo. Let's see who's here popping on. I'm excited. Ooh, it is warm out here in the Northeast. It's 85 degrees out. It's absolutely beautiful. Welcome here. Welcome. How are you all doing? It is Thursday. My question to you is, what's your mindset like today? What is it today? Are you a powerhouse at your agency? Are you a CEO at your agency in terms of crime analysis? Right? Welcome. I see several of you popping on board here. And I wanted to share a couple of really cool things that have happened. And I want to give some announcements, and then we're going to dive on into all the goodies that we're going to talk about today. Hello, Becky. Hello, Sonia. Nice to see each of you. I'm glad that you are here today. Hello, Steve. Hello, all. Yes. Hello, Tribe. We are part of a community of law enforcement analysts, and today we are here moving forward in our Boundary 101 series. So every Thursday we get together at 2 p.m. Eastern. I think it's 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we dive into another set of materials. This month is all about boundaries. You know why? Because so many analysts struggle with boundaries, whether it's at home or in their work lives, right? Or with their, if you're the manager, maybe you're struggling with boundaries with your staff, right? Or vice versa. So we're unpackaging some additional tools, and one big one that you can use today as soon as you hop off today's call. All right. So this series started, whether you're here live or listening to the replay, how many of you are challenged with boundaries on a regular basis, right? How many of you find that you are saying yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, that you are answering phone calls maybe on the weekends when it's not your shift, right? That because you are either in FOMO mode, right? Your fear of missing out, or because, you just want to please, right? You want to feel of value, right? So we're talking about, really the what you can do today one thing you can do today to set up your boundaries, right? Set up proper, healthy boundaries that are going to promote healthy work environments and healthy lifestyles. But I just wanted to share some announcements with you before we move on here. We have a wellness and policing for analysts masterclass that's happening right after this. It starts at 3:30. It's an hour and a half long. It is free. So if you haven't already registered for that, someone go ahead and plug it into the notes section here, or you can go to dawnreby@podia.com or net or something like that. It's listed all over the Facebook page. You can register wellness in policing for analysts. These are for analysts who feel like they're constantly spinning. We have over 30, 35, I think some people registered. So these are analysts who are spinning, right? You are constantly overwhelmed. You're like, okay, how do I just get intentional and focused, and what do I focus on, right? And so this 1.5 hour master course it's a Zoom. It's a live Zoom. It's very small, right? It's not one of these big things where we have kind of like the masterminds where we have hundreds of analysts. It's very small and it's very intimate, and we're going to be in this together, okay? So if you haven't already registered for Wellness and Policing for Analysts, do that. That's happening at 3:30 Eastern today, and it's an hour and a half long. If you are listening to this replay and you're like, oh, sugar, I missed out on Wellness and Policing, go ahead and put a comment, and we can kind of gauge the level of interest in putting it on again. But for right now, it is it for right now. That's the only time that it's going to be pushed out, because this is the second one we're doing. So the first one happened earlier this month. We had a great support for that. Many of you reached out and said, Wellness and Policing for Analysts, I want that. So we put on a second one that's today, June 18th, okay? So the other announcement I wanted to share with you is pods. We have, you've probably seen some pictures lately of things happening. So we have pods, analyst pods happening. So if you're looking for a way to be accountable, if you're looking to, come together with other analysts from throughout the country in a Zoom, right, where you sit down for 1 hour, right, talk about what you're going to do, what you're going to do in that hour, how you're going to succeed. You get some ideas from the other analysts, and then you rock out for 45 minutes, Pomodoro style, and then you share your successes. So we come to the playing field every Friday right now at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you can search for pod. It'll give you the Zoom link and the password. You can join us for that. And, feel free to share this with your other analysts. In fact, feel free to share this entire group. We've grown from 50 analysts in the last several months. We've grown from 50 analysts in this group to almost 500, right? So analysts need support. Even though we might be all over the world, we're together here in one place, together, right? And so we're supporting each other. So the next pod is tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I wanted to make sure that you knew about that 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so celebrations, again, 500 members in this group, almost, right? So it's phenomenal. I can't wait to continue to support analysts. We are all here for the same reason. You all fill out questions to gain entry, and almost every single person, I would say probably 90 or 85% of people say the number one challenge is time management. Well, guess what? We're diving back into our Peak Productivity Master Course. It's happening in July. You are going to be given materials to walk through peak productivity, right? So time management, you can sink your teeth into it. You can be together with the rest of our group here. It's all free. You can register. Go ahead and click on the announcements under the calendar, and it's going to give you the link directly to that Peak Productivity Master Course. I know Liz just hopped on, and she's been doing that. And finding great success with time chunking, with releasing what doesn't matter, with identifying what the heck do I do as an analyst every single day, and making sure that you're executing and you're doing it well. So make sure that you join us for that. That's happening in July. Okay, so I want to congratulate some analysts who have really gone above and beyond in this group. So I want to congratulate Luis Marina Ramirez. So if you haven't seen already, she actually was noticed nationally because she is the analyst who helped LAPD with an investigation using her facial recognition stuff, right? And so she helped solve a case of a robbery series. And so congratulations to you, Luis, because you are a great example of how we can rise as analysts, right? How we can offer our support regionally to other analysts and really, come together and use the skills and talents that we have to help. So she helped with a robbery series, and I want to congratulate you, Luis. And for those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, you can just search the page and you'll see Luis Marina Ramirez did a great job. She identified that robbery suspect. So congratulations to you and to the analysts who helped, all right, through that facial recognition. I also want to really congratulate someone else who stepped up to the plate. So Elizabeth Pylant and also Morgan Camden, the two of you produced tools for this group. Morgan's sending me the video that I'm going to share with the rest of you. So these two analysts discovered how to use maps in Excel. And so instead of just keeping that awesome information to themselves, they created these 5-minute videos that was a tutorial for you other analysts that said, here's how to map in Excel. Like, who needs all these other mapping programs, right? So there's a couple of tutorials. One, Elizabeth already sent out in the units section. There's tutorials, free resources. Here's one of them. It's a 5-minute video on how to take your Excel data and turn it into a map and even into a movie that you can then send to your commanders and see like fluctuations in crime over the course of a period of time. So thank you, Liz, for stepping up to the plate on that. Liz Pylant, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And she sent me the video. I was able to post it in the units, and Morgan is sending me a little bit more comprehensive video. It's about, I want to say 12 minutes long, and it walks through step-by-step how to utilize Microsoft Excel with 3D mapping, which is phenomenal. So if you're finding that you have some skill or talent that you want to share, let me know, and we will make sure that we get it out to the other analysts, because that tool, that Excel tool, looking at how to map your crimes, your crashes, whatever it might be in Excel, in a way that does not involve geocoding or XY coordinates. It simply is like a button click and you can create a kernel density map. Hello, Gus is jumping out of his seat for this one. I know, creating that kernel density map using Excel. Who would have thought? So kudos to you folks. I want to thank you, Elizabeth and Morgan, for sharing your skills and stepping up to the plate and allowing other analysts to tap into your superpowers. So congratulations to you and thank you to you. And Melissa Remy Redshaw, you were the analyst who took action. So kudos to you. You looked at the 5-minute video and you implemented. You're just like, hey, great, thanks guys. I'm going to start implementing immediately. So I want to just recognize Melissa Redshaw for really just taking action. She just did it. She looked at the video and she's like, all right, I'm going to implement. So kudos to you. Hello, Gus. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Liz. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate you being here today. And the last thing I wanted to make sure that you were aware of is Rise an Analyst, right? We have a post called Rise an Analyst. If you know an analyst, and I know that you do, if you know an analyst who has helped you in some way, they've given you some inspiration, maybe they sat with you or listened to a phone call or sat on a phone call with you, or maybe they even helped you build out some product, right? If you know and want to thank an analyst, there's a post called Rise an Analyst. And what you can do is just talk about them, tag them. If they're not even part of this group, make sure they're part of this group, share the group with them, copy the little, top part of the Facebook group, share it with them. They'll answer the entry questions, they'll gain entry, and then tag them on that Rise an Analyst post. Let them know that you have influenced them. I actually tagged my longtime mentor, Carol Fitzgerald, on the post because, I was an intern 20 something years ago and she really influenced me in such an impactful way. So if there's an analyst who has influenced you in such an impactful way, go to the Rise an Analyst post. This is a beautiful tradition that I'd love to start here, where we rise each other. And what I'm going to do every single month is I'm going to handpick, my daughter actually is going to handpick somebody from there, and we're going to send them a wellness package. We're going to send them a beautiful little package saying that you've been selected as the Rise an Analyst Person of the Month. We're going to do this every single month. So get in there. Tell an analyst how awesome they were for you. If you work with other analysts, if you're a manager, or even if you're not a manager, this is an opportunity for you to rise somebody else. So I encourage you, jump on in every single month and do that. Rise somebody else. That is a sign of a good leader, right? And you don't have to be in management to be a good leader, but a leader rises somebody else. So make sure you do that. Make sure you get in. Let us know who you want to rise. And you can rise that same person or even a different person every single month. We're going to pick a gift for them. So that's that. All right. So you guys are pretty quiet today. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're in the comments. Share with me how you are doing on boundaries. What boundaries have you been working on this week that you are diving into? I know we just had our Rising Genius group call, which was awesome. We are a small collection of analysts who get together, right? And we dissect this even further. And we had some analysts really talking about how, they're going to be working on their own internal growth, right? Internal boundaries. Hey, Tammy Jo, glad that you are here. Welcome. I'm glad to see you here too. So what boundaries are you working on nailing down right now? What are the things that you're doing right now? Who are the people? Is it the phone calls that you're saying, I'm not going to talk as long? Like, who are the people that are draining you? Or is it the shutting off your cell phone on the weekends so that you're not pulled into work if you're not an emergency worker? Is it the boundaries that you have with your mom or your dad or somebody in your life, maybe even your friends, right? What boundaries? I was talking to a friend this morning and she's, saying, well, if my boyfriend didn't celebrate our 1-year anniversary and he, and that's a big boundary breaker for her. Like in her world, that's a big boundary breaker. And she was just like, he didn't even acknowledge me. And that was real stressful for her. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to build that boundary, right? If that's important for you, like speak up and stop holding in that resentment, right? That's deep down inside. All right, so Tammy Jo, Gus, Liz, second Liz, third Liz, Lorraine, Steve, Sonia, Becky, all of you, Michelle who are here, Kaylee, think I just pressed a button I wasn't supposed to press. There we go. Sorry, my finger was in the way. Let me know. What are you working on right now? What boundaries are you working on? Are you a solution finder at your work? I actually want to talk about, a mindset shift a little bit, right? And so thinking about, okay, I'm complaining, I have these boundary challenges. Are you just complaining about them, or are you a solution finder? Are you a solution finder? So I want to bring that mindset in to really talk about, you are the CEO not only of Crime Analysis, but of your life. So if you want boundaries to be in place, you got to be the one to make them, right? You got to be the one to make them. So let's talk about how that can really apply to you. So today we're going to walk through a couple of key things that are going to get you to more successful boundaries, right? So if you're brand new to this page, and I know we just entered a bunch of people last week, if you're brand new to this page and you're like, oh, what are they even talking about? Each month we pick a theme. This month's theme is all about creating quality boundaries, right? And so week 1, we talked about the 12 signs, right? The 12 signs is that your boundaries are blurred. All of this can be found, the replays can be found in the units section. Last week, we talked about the root causes of boundaries. And today, we're talking about steps to set up those boundaries. So Tammy Jo says, I have stopped bringing my phone to the dinner table. Yeah, go Tammy. Woo, woo. Go Tammy. I like it, Tammy Jo. Really, what you're talking about is setting priorities, which in your case sounds like it's your family or your your food environment, right? And making it so that no one's interrupting you during those sessions. Yes, I had a couple people text me this week that I didn't respond to, because I felt like there was a particular friend that is very, very negative. And I'm like, okay, if I respond, then I know that I'm going to be sucked into some of that negativity. So I'm going to respond, but in a way that does not invite that person to, bring me into that negativity, right? So Tammy Jo, it sounds like you started to do that, saying, I'm just not responding while I'm at the dinner table because that's a priority for me. So kudos to you. All right. So what are some things, let's get right to it. We have 10 minutes left, so let's get right to it. What are some things that we can do to support setting quality boundaries with family, with friends, with work, with coworkers, and so forth, right? So the number one thing that you can do that we're going to talk about today, the number one thing that you can do, support. You can establish a support system. I see far too often that analysts actually hold in, right? Like they try to set a boundary, they try to set this boundary and they don't share it with other people. Who's with me? You guys with me? Are you like, yeah, damn it, I'm going to set this boundary, I'm going to make it happen. And then you just like keep it in and you're like, and there's no real accountability. There's no real support system for you, right? And then you find that maybe the person you're wanting to set those boundaries with all of a sudden talks you down from it, right? Well, if you were a good employee, you would be available 24/7. Or, that person kind of talks you down from it. Yes, Michelle, support system. So number one, find a support system. Over in the Rising Genius Group, we have a weekly support system. We come together every single week, like as a crew, as a community, and we support each other in that growth area, right? And so who's your support system? Is it your church, right? Are you strong, involved in your church? Do you have a small network of friends that is your support system? I'm not talking about family, because sometimes those are the people you need to set the boundaries with, right? But who do you go to kind of run some ideas around? Do you have a coach? Do you have a private coach that you run some big picture concept ideas through, right? Who's your support system? If you're anything like me, I've always been like the rock, the strong one. And it's always been a challenge for me personally to go ask someone for help, right? And that's been a big challenge to ask someone for help. And I've recognized in my life that in order for me to move forward, I need a support system that's going to be able to bounce some ideas off of, right? That's what I need. So Jen says, yes, we missed you today, Michelle. Yes. And so thinking about the support systems in your life and eliminating this idea that you always need to be the strong one, right? You need a support. So there's this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? And Napoleon Hill and even Bob Proctor and some of his work that he does talking about like leadership development. He has like this table of people. Who are the leadership people in your life that you would want at a table to kind of hash out a challenge that you're dealing with? right? So Napoleon Hill in that Think and Grow Rich book talks about this like table of people that he would, imaginary people in his world, like who are the big thinkers and why, right? So if you have, a certain financial challenge, who's the support group that you're going to want to go to? So the same applies to boundary setting. When you are setting up boundaries, you want a support crew that's going to allow you to really see from that bigger picture, one, you're right in setting boundaries, and two, how to go about it in a way that's not blurred, in a way that is, very articulated. Okay. All right. Let's see. Michelle says, I didn't even realize what time it was. I've had people in and out of my office all day. No worries, Michelle, no worries. Gus says, I don't like asking for help. I have to be drowning to ask for it. Why? That's rooted in something. Because I know, Gus, I felt the same way. And for me, it was rooted in the thought that I would be weak if I asked for help. Right? You all know my story, that single teen mom, right? And I had to prove myself that I was strong and I was a hard worker and all that. And in doing so, I felt like I couldn't ask for help because I would be considered weak or, not knowledgeable or, not of leadership level, right? And what I found is it is the leaders that ask for help. That is a role in leadership. As I've moved through my career and through my leadership role, a role in leadership is you identify the skills and the talents of other people and you tap into them, right? So that is a leadership role, Gus, right? So Michelle says, Gus, that's a hard expectation to live up to, exhausting. I bet there are so many people that want to help you if given the chance. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. It is exhausting. But how many of you feel that way? Gus is not alone. How many people here, whether you're listening to the replay or listening live, feel that you have to be on the brink of death before you ask for help? That you have to just be so far gone before you ask for help. That's living in survival mode, right? That's not like, and I've been there. And sometimes I'm still there. And I can tell you what I've learned is that a leader, a CEO of Crime Analysis, and a CEO of your life, you actively seek out those rocket boosters. You actively seek out people and groups who are going to support you in your growth. And it is only with that team. It is only with that team of people that you actively seek out, not just the people that land in your lap, right? But the people that you actively seek out that are going to rise you. Yeah, Becky Sue, you're in it too. Yep, exactly. And I'm here to tell you, let's shift that mindset. I'm here to tell you that you can be so strong in an ask for help, right? So, you can be that strong, confident person who's seeking out the support from other people in a way that rises you, and quite honestly gives them a gift of rising them, right? Of rising them. So Jen says, I feel like asking for help makes me look like I can't perform, learning that I don't have to try and know everything. Yeah, you're so right, Jen. It could feel like if I ask for help that I might be not the one for the job, right? Like, shouldn't I know everything? No, that's a misconception, right? You absolutely should not know how to do everything, but you want to be able to set it up so that you can. And Jen, actually, I'm glad that you're the one that responded because she's done a really good job. She does a really good job with setting up systems, putting systems in place that she can get support from. She belongs to the Rising Genius Group. She takes advantage of the DDAX opportunities. She reaches out to people who know how to do these things, right? And taps into their powers, right? So, she knows that as right now she's working to build she's with Grand Rapids, and she's working to build analytical capacity there. And so part of that means bringing on some other players, right? Like the IADLS team, not just herself, to really implement data-driven strategies. So getting a chief to talk to a chief, getting a sergeant to talk to a sergeant, and so forth and so on. And so, yeah. The help that you're looking for, Jen, you do actually do a great job of looking and seeking that out. So Steve says first day back was Monday, nonstop visitors and friends since then. Very nice in some ways, but not for being productive. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, Steve, right? I could see that. So we're going to talk about a couple different tools that you can use to set up boundaries. That's what we're talking about today. We learned, how it looks when we don't have boundaries. We learned the root causes, and today we're looking at a couple of key steps to set up those boundaries. But the number one thing is set up a support system, right? Figure out who are those rocket boosters in my life that I need on a regular basis, and how am I nurturing that relationship with them, right? How am I nurturing that relationship with them? So for me, my aunt, I know that she's my support system. And when I am working on boundaries, particularly boundaries with my family, with my daughters, right? I reach out to her and I say, hey, let me run this by you. So get a support system. It could be your church. It could be a network of friends that think a certain way that you think as well, right? And it could also be a group of other analysts like this group here. Like if you know that you walk away from every Thursday when you attend these, you know that you walk away with power, with you're ignited, you have a little bit of a fire, and you're like, I'm gonna go rock this out. Then this is your group. This is your crew. Then you come here every Thursday. If you know that you need something more, we have a group meeting. We have a wellness and policing for analysts meeting this afternoon to talk about how we can be more well at 3:30 Eastern. So sign up for that if you haven't already, right? So we have a couple things going on. But in the end, it is up to you. It is up to you to outreach. So Gus and Becky and myself and all the others who feel the same way, where it's hard to feel like you're adequate when you're asking for help. I ask you to shift that mindset and know that leaders, that is exactly what they do, right? CEOs do not know how to be a CFO. Your chief does not know how to be an analyst, right? And nor should she or he have to. What leaders know is I need the right people on the bus. I need the right people on the bus to bring me the life and the lifestyle that I want. Right? And so who's on my bus? Yes, Becky, CEOs on fire in here. Yes, exactly. We are CEOs of crime analysis, of law enforcement analytics. And so I ask you, who's on your bus? Who's on your bus? Who's your support system through all of this? And if you're right now, if you're sitting back and you're like, oh my God, I have nobody. I keep everything inside. I don't know who to turn to. Right? This is one spot for you. But I encourage you to think about some other systems, create systematic opportunity in your life, right? So other systems of people, that are going to support you. All right. So that's number one, support systems. Number one, that's the number one way that you are going to improve your boundary setting, is by getting involved with systems of people who are going to rise you to that level, who you can bounce ideas off of, right? And number two, allow other people to be angry. When you set boundaries, when you begin to set boundaries, some other people may not like them. They might get angry with you. That's okay. That's okay. Allow them to be angry, okay? And so it is key that you do not change your no. Like if you've made a decision and you've really thought about that decision, for instance, let's say, you say in general, on the weekends, I'm not working. I'm just not, it's my time off and I need to refuel, and that's what I'm doing. But then you keep on getting calls. Now, I'm not talking about the temporary stuff that happens every once in a while. I'm talking about like the constant, right? You find all of a sudden you're working every Saturday, right? And you're just like, wait, is this really what I want in life? If you say to your boss, hey, listen, Saturdays I'm off limits. I want to make sure that we're both on the same page in terms of what your expectations are and what mine are. Does that work for you? If there's an emergency, yeah, reach out to me. But in general, I'm off limits, right? And then they say, oh, I really need you to be, on call 24/7. If you've decided that that's not going to serve you, then you can say, we need to come up with another solution here. That's not going to work for me. A no could be direct and gentle, but it could also be, flexible. Like you could talk about what else you can do to reach that person's expectations and yours, but Saturday is just not going to work, right? Or whatever boundary that you're setting up is just not going to work. Right? So I encourage you to allow someone else to be angry, allow them to recognize that, it may not feel good for them, but don't change your perspective. Don't cave in because they're angry, right? When you've made a decision, make that decision and be clear about it, right? And be clear about it. Okay. And I'm working on this too. I'm working on this too. I've made a decision in my family to not work on Mondays because I work a lot of weekends. And so I've made a decision to not work on Mondays. And last Monday, what did I do? I worked the whole day. And so I've made a decision. I'm like, darn it. I needed to block off my schedule. I needed to, cut it out, right? And say to myself, I'm not working on Mondays. That's going to be my self-care, my family day, my, that kind of thing. So I need to follow through with that. Okay. So not changing your no, but offering other solutions. So if there is someone who needs help on a Monday, I might say to them, hey, I'm not on today, but I have a slot for you next Tuesday, right? That kind of thing. So being flexible. Okay. Being prepared to distance yourself from somebody. Be prepared to distance yourself from somebody that you're trying to set boundaries around, right? If you're trying to set boundaries around a situation or a person, be prepared to step back and not just react. Not just be like, oh, but. Like, be prepared that might be angry. Be prepared to distance yourself and know that you're doing the right thing, right? So be prepared to distance yourself from something that may make you cave in to the boundaries that you're trying so hard to make. All right. So those really are the key things. Support system, number one, support system absolutely must happen. You must establish a support system. Becky Sue, I'm so glad that your support system is here every Thursday. That's awesome. Yes, come Monday, it'll be okay. Yes. What's my support system? The pods. The pods are a great support system for me for getting my work done and for creating that boundary, that I know that I'm not going to cross over, right? So what's your support system? For the Rising Genius Group, it is the crew that meets once a week. It is the coaching. And so for others, it might be your church friends. It might be, some other group that you regularly belong to. There's a group of leaders in law enforcement. I know not everyone here is a supervisor, but maybe you need to be around other supervisors in law enforcement. And so, if that's something that you're looking for, we can help get you connected to those other leaders. Like, who are the people who are going to rise you, right? So that support system, number one, allowing someone else to be angry and not eliminating your no as a result of it, right? Knowing that they may not be happy with you as you begin to set up these boundaries and being okay with that and creating that distance, right? Creating that distance from them. Okay. So you have some real tangible things that you can do right now. Get a support system. If you don't have one, come here every Thursday. Well, not if you don't have one, come here anyway. This is a great support system every Thursday. Take advantage of all the opportunities that are available to you here on our tribe page. We have analysts who respond to the entry question saying, I don't know any other analysts and I want to be connected. Then get connected, right? Get connected with other analysts here in our pods, on our Thursday sessions. If you're looking for something more and you're just like, no, I want like a high level group. I want, something more and bigger, and I'm ready for something more and bigger, then connect and we'll talk to see if the Rising Genius program is right for you, because we are, really a great group who's supporting each other in a very, very significant way. We're rising each other. And then that brings you back to rise another analyst. Be a leader, not only of yourself, but of other analysts, and pop on over to that Rise an Analyst post. Every single person here, Steve, I challenge you, Jen and Liz and the second Liz and Becky Sue and all of you, I challenge you to go on over and Rise another analyst, bring them up. Just search the page for Rise an Analyst. And wouldn't it be cool if that analyst that got selected every month was someone that you honored, right? That would be pretty cool. So you have some good action steps for you to move forward in your boundaries. Next week, we are going through our boundary checklist. We are ending the boundary piece. We are going through our boundary checklist. This is going to be a really fun one because you guys have been working hard this month, and we're going to walk through a checklist of, are you in it or do you have some more work to do? I think it's going to be very helpful for you. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I hope that you continue to be CEOs of Crime Analysis and CEOs of your own life by taking charge, finding your genius, and knowing that you are worth it. All right, see you guys next week.